Hello one and all, and welcome along to the EuroFantasyLeague Podcast. This is your fortnightly roundup of all things Premier League, Serie A and La Liga, and we're here with bells on this week, and by we I'm talking about myself, Jamie McLean, and I'm joined as always by David Fennick. Hello there, Dave.
Alright, Jamie.
Are you well?
I'm canny. How are you?
Not too bad. Not quite as busy as you've been lately by the sounds of things.
It's getting a bit hectic.
Right, let's get on with the show. Yes, welcome along, as I say, to the Euro Fantasy League podcast. We're back once again, and there's been plenty going on lately, Dave. We've got some great weekend winners coming up, haven't we?
Yeah, we have.
So, yeah, but we're here with you every fortnight, of course. Remember to check us out and subscribe, as you might already have done so, on all the usual platforms, iTunes, Acast, Stitcher, YouTube, all of those. So, Dave, before we get into the weekend winners, I've got a good name game that I'm really excited to get into on this one, so I'll just throw this one straight at you to get started.
Does this mean it's going to be difficult?
No, I don't think it's difficult. I'm just excited to have... I'm excited about this name game. So, this gentleman was born on the 1st of February 1969. His dad was a slaughterhouse worker named Omar, and his mum was a school secretary named Gloria. So there's the first clue. I'm not giving you any more just yet. You're not meant to be able to get it yet.
Oh, so he must be about is he late 40s?
He'll be 49 or 50, I think, off the top of my head. Yeah, right. So... you'll have to excuse us as well. Like I say, full of cold, and I'm having a nightmare with me ears.
Cold or hay fever?
I can barely. No, it's a cold. It's been coming on the last few days. Right. Hay fever. I haven't even been outside to get a blast of hay fever. So yeah, right. Let's get on. Shall we start off with the weekend winners then, Dave? And we'll see. We've got we've got some great players. I mean, as a little preview, a little spoiler, there wasn't really any other three we could have gone for, really, was there, for this weekend?
Well, we've deliberated a bit, but
we had a bit of discussion, but I think these three were the safe bets. So the first off, we've gone with Carlos Bacca at Villarreal, 10.5 million, 14 points. He got the hat-trick as Villarreal beat Celta Vigo 4-1.
He's getting on a bit now, Carlos Bacca, isn't he? 31-year-old Colombian.
Yeah,
I think he's on loan from Milan, isn't he?
He is, yes, that's right, on loan from Milan. Used to play for Sevilla as well. He's quite well travelled. But he managed to get a hat-trick there. It was a good result for Villarreal. Moves them 5 points clear of Getafe. Gives them a really strong case for European football next season.
Hey, stop spoiling my La Liga.
Oh, sorry. Better not go too deep into this.
You know the rules.
I do. I'll slap myself on the wrist in a minute. So remember, if you like the Spanish game to play, liga-fantasy.com. So the next of the winners, Dave, is from Serie A, and that is Giovanni Simeone, son of Diego.
Another one who hit a hat-trick is they beat Napoli 3-0 and will be dipping into Serie A later on.
Yes, we will, but Giovanni Simeone there, 7.5 million, 14 points. Ends a run of 3 games without a win for Fiorentina. So I'll not go into any further consequences for fear of getting reprimanded off Mr. Fennick there. But yeah, and if you like the Italy game, you can play fantasyseria.com as well. And then the third winner, Dave, do you want to deliver this one?
Yeah, Lionel Messi scored a hat-trick as Barcelona won 4-2 and claimed their La Liga title.
Yeah, that was a really good result. Again, I mean, Barcelona winning. I don't know if you can ever sort of call it a good result, because it's more often than not expected anyway, isn't it? But
still got to do the business, though.
Well, they've still got to get the job done, exactly. Messi there with 14 points. He'd set you back 22 million to get into your fantasy team, but he is pretty good value, really, Lionel Messi. He's on 154 points for the season. So that's
not bad, is it?
Pretty standard turnout, really. I don't think he's the top point scorer, actually, but he's not too far from it. So there's the 3 weekend, a hat-trick of hat-trick goal scorers there for our weekend.
Is that a first
section. I think it's got to be, yeah. We've had the odd striker in who's hit a hat-trick before, but I don't think we've ever had all 3 of them hitting hat-tricks, and they were all so important as well. Well, like I said, we'll get into it a bit later on, but they're all really important for their clubs and those around them as well. So really good strong lineup there, I think, on the weekend winners.
I'd be happy with that forward line.
I think so, definitely. So should I give you another couple of clues before we go to a quick break? And then, the mystery player today met a lady called Irina in 1985 when he was just 16, before his professional career started, and she would later become his wife, and they would have 4 children together, and they only split up a few years ago. So a long time spent with Irina there. And he played...
Are you having a dig at me?
No, I'm not having a dig at you.
I thought you were having a dig at the man with 2 divorces there.
No, I'm not having a dig at you.
A long time with this one.
Do you know, David, never even occurred to me. That didn't.
Okay.
So,
nice one.
And he played 77 games for his country, scoring, get this, 54 goals in 77 games, including hat-tricks at 2 World Cups. His club career was almost as prolific. He scored 245 goals in 430 games across 17 years as a pro footballer. So I hope you've taken note of some of those stats. Yeah.
Whew.
That's good. Good going, that, isn't it? 245
You're going to give us his nationality,
30 games. Not yet. The next clue may offer a little hint. In fact, I think the next clue comes right out and says it. So why not? I'll give you that as well, because I've got plenty of clues. My first club were Newell's Old Boys, and I'd spend more time in my native Argentina with River Plate and Boca Juniors before moving to Europe in 1991.
Right.
So there we go.
I think I've got it, but I'll keep quiet.
What? Well, I'll tell you what. We're going to go for a quick break. You tell me off mic, and we'll see what the mood's like when we get back. Wrong guess, Dave. I'm afraid. Keep trying. Must try harder.
All right.
So, yeah.
I thought I had it there.
No. Nowhere near, sir. Right. So, we're going to go on now and do the roundup, I think, and find out what's been going on in our 3 respective top flight leagues. So, Dave, what have you got for us first?
Yeah, I think we should start in La Liga, where Barcelona claimed another title after a 4-2 win at Deportivo, and that result relegated Deportivo. Barcelona, who also won the Copa del Rey the other week, went to Deportivo, won 4-2, Messi getting 3, as we'd mentioned, and Coutinho also on the score sheet. Yeah. So basically, everything's sorted now in La Liga. Barcelona have won the league, and the 3 relegation places have been taken up by Malaga, Las Palmas and Deportivo.
Yeah, it's surprising that Deportivo are actually down there. They're just a team that always feel like they've always been there, you know? Yeah.
Other results, Levante beat Seville 2-1. Espanyol drew 1-1 with relegated Las Palmas. Las Palmas led until 15 minutes ago, then Espanyol got an equaliser. Real Sociedad beat Atletico Bilbao 3-1. Bilbao didn't help themselves, scored 2 own goals. And despite a red card for Sociedad's midfielder, Ruben Pardo, they still claimed all 3 points.
I feel it for them, you know, playing for my school team one day. Me and my cousin both scored own goals on the same day. That was horrible.
Right. Was that with the old-style Caseys, or are you not that old?
Old-style whaties?
Caseys? Oh, you don't even know what a Casey is, do you? I'm showing my age now.
You are. I think you definitely are.
Real Madrid beat Leganes 2-1. Bale with the first goal. So there's been a lot of talk about Gareth Bale leaving Real Madrid and coming back to the Premiership. And he got a goal for Real Madrid in their 2-1 win.
Yep.
Villarreal beat Celta Vigo 4-1. We've mentioned Bacca's hat-trick before.
Yeah, and that's massive. Sorry to interrupt. I was just going to say massive in their efforts of getting into Europe now, because they've got a game in hand over Getafe and a 5-point advantage. So you would sort of be inclined to think that's Villarreal into Europe now, wouldn't you? Because, I was about to talk about Getafe's result, but you were about to go on to that, weren't you?
Yeah. Getafe won, Girona won. And Christian Stuani, the ex-Middlesbrough player, with a penalty. And that's 19 goals Stuani has got in La Liga this year. Yeah. That's some good return.
We've mentioned him a few
times. Damian Suarez the Uruguayan red carded. But yes, Giovanni's done well, hasn't he?
He has, yeah. I mean, he keeps cropping up on this podcast as well. I don't know if he's ever been on there in regards to weekend winners, but he's made a couple of appearances in the best 11, I think, Giovanni, and he's doing a really good job over there.
Yeah. Alaves 0, Atletico Madrid 1, despite having the Frenchman Kevin Gamero sent off. Sorry, Kevin Gamero scored from the penalty spot, and then they had Angel Correa sent off late on, the Argentinian midfielder, but they still claimed all 3 points at Alaves. And Valencia Eibar was a 0-0 draw. Deportivo 2, Barcelona 4, as we've already mentioned, and Real Betis in the last game of the weekend Monday night beat Malaga 2-1. So as I've said, Barcelona 86 points, champions. Then you've got Atletico Madrid 75, Real Madrid 71, and Valencia 67. And at the bottom, Malaga on 20 points relegated. And Malaga have been in the top flight in Spain for 10 years. So they've gone down after 10 years up there.
That's
in La Liga.
Ominously familiar sort of timings there, Dave, for you and me, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a bit spooky, isn't it?
Yeah.
Las Palmas 22 points, and Deportivo, as you mentioned, you don't expect them to see them down there. They're relegated as well, and they've been in the top flight 4 years. So everything's just about sorted out in Spain.
That's amazing. I could have sworn Deportivo had been around longer than those 4 years. That's incredible.
Been in the top flight 4 years.
Yeah.
And looking forward to the fixtures this weekend, I mean, there's only one that stands out, and that's El Clasico, Barcelona at home to Real Madrid. Now, will Real Madrid give Barcelona a guard of honour? Watch this space.
Yeah, this is apparently not. It was the last that I'd heard about that topic, but yeah, we'll see. But one quick observation I wanted to make about the La Liga table at the moment is that, as you say, Valencia 4th, 67 points. You've got Real Betis in 5th on 59. Now, there's only 3 games for each of those 2 teams left. That's an 8-point gulf. But Valencia have lost 2 and drawn 2 of the last 4, while Real Betis have won 4 of the last 5. So they're going the right way to push them.
I know what you're saying, definitely. But I think Valencia are going to get something along the way, aren't they?
They only need another 2 points to wrap it up. But
to that European spot. Yeah.
It's just nice to look in the win, loss, draw sort of chart there that Real Betis are really pushing to try and make a late surge into the top 4 there. I don't think they'll quite manage it, but they're going the right way about trying. So yeah, okie dokie, that's lovely. So there's La Liga. So what have you got for us next? Are we going to go to...
we'll go to Italy, to Serie A, yeah?
Okay, yeah.
Roma beat Chievo 4-1. Despite having 1 sent off, they still scored 2 goals when they were down to 10 men. And Dzeko got 2 of them goals. He's having quite a good season, isn't he?
He is. Yeah, he was linked with the move back to the Premier League earlier on as well, wasn't he? But Dzeko's doing a really good job over there, actually.
Cracking game, Inter Milan 2, Juventus 3. Juventus were 2-1 down till late on. And there was an own goal and then a winner from Higuain in the 88th minute. So they were 2-1 down despite an early red card for Uruguayan Matheus Vecino from Inter Milan. So Juventus were right under the cosh and scored real late on there from Higuain in the 88th minute.
Yeah, in the 88th minute to take them to 88 points. It's all about the 88 for Juventus.
Yep, Crotone 4, Sassuolo 1. They were 3 up after 30 minutes, Crotone. So it's a good result for them. Benevento 3, Udinese 3. 2 goals from each side in the last 15 minutes. And there was another sending off. Benevento had Danilo Cataldi sent off 10 minutes into the second half, the midfielder. And,
done well to get a draw out of that, haven't they?
4 goals in the last 15 minutes.
Yeah, that's good value, isn't it? That's good entertainment if you can beat a game like that. And Benevento seem to have picked more points up in the last few weeks than they have done for a big majority of the season as well.
They've made a go of it. I mean, they've gone, but they have put a bit of a fight. Bologna 1, Milan 2. Comfortable result for Milan this, and they were 2-0 up, and Bologna pulled 1 back. Atalanta 3, Genoa 1. 3-0 up Atalanta were, and a late consolation for Genoa. Now, our friends at Spal, coming from a goal down, great result to win 3-1 at Verona. And Kurtic, again, the Slovenian, he was on the score sheet. So he's having a good time at the minute. I think we mentioned him in a past episode.
Yeah.
And that's a cracking result for Spal.
A brilliant result, vital result for Spal as well. It's made Verona all but down now, hasn't it, really, for all intents and purposes?
Sampdoria 4, Cagliari 1, and another ex-Middlesbrough player, Gaston Ramirez, scoring one of the goals for Sampdoria.
Ex-Middlesbrough players just popping up all over the continent at the minute.
Yeah. I think he fell out with Middlesbrough big style. I don't think the fans were. He sort of engineered a move like players do. Mm-hmm. And anyway, Gaston Ramirez with one of the goals. Fiorentina, what a cracking result, beating Napoli 3-0.
Absolutely fantastic result that is. I mean, the implications, obviously, of the result are quite clear, but that Giovanni Simeone, like we mentioned before, with all three of the goals, what an afternoon for Fiorentina fans.
Brilliant. And Lazio won 1-0 at Torino. So 3 games left. At the top, we've got Juve 88, Napoli 84, Roma 70, Lazio 70, and Inter 66. At the bottom, we've got Benevento 18, Verona 25, Chievo 31, Spal 32, Cagliari 33, Crotone 34, Udinese 34, Sassuolo 37, and Bologna 39.
They're all the teams really that can still go down. Yeah.
Yeah, they've all, the ones, I've named all them teams because there's a couple that sort of at the top of that group, but they still could go down. And there's a couple of vital games at the bottom this weekend where Chievo play Crotone and Spal take on Benevento. Now, Spal, they've been playing really well, keeping clean sheets against top sides. They've got the result now. You don't want to see them go and blow it against Benevento, who are gone,
Yeah, exactly.
But if it's anything like the team me and you support, that'll probably happen.
That'll be what happens, yeah. I know, we may have cursed them by pledging our allegiance to Spal. No, it's. I think Spal, as you say, that's a real opportunity because, I mean, yes, up to Bologna in 12th can still be relegated, but you would sort of think Udinese in 14th and down to Chievo in 18th. They're sort of like, they're the 5 teams and there's one place left, assuming Benevento and, I mean, Verona could get out of it, but that's looking like a really big ask.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting though, isn't it?
So yeah, you would fancy one of Chievo, Spal, Cagliari, Crotone or Udinese to be the third relegated team.
Yeah, definitely.
But Spal, as you say, 1 point clear of Chievo at the minute with an opportunity to do themselves a world of good coming up.
Yep. Do you want to give us another clue before the Premier League roundup? Or are we going straight to Premier League?
Why not? We will do. So here we go then. Clue number 5. My entire European career was spent with 3 different clubs in Serie A, and I scored 200 goals in 344 games in Italy. And do you want one more quickly? This one might sort of put you on the right track, this one though. The first of those clubs was I'll try again. The first of those clubs was Fiorentina, and I spent 9 glorious years with them.
Do
you want one more? I'll give you one more and then that'll push you.
I thought of someone and he's not the right nationality, so he heads all over the place.
Well, clue number 7 then. I then moved to Roma, and my time there included a spell on loan at Inter Milan. So there we go. I mentioned Fiorentina, our guest on the last episode, Chloe Beresford, just probably sat there screaming it at you.
Now, I'm thinking I've got the wrong nationality, but now I think I've got the right nationality, so at the next break, I'll have a guess off air, and you can tell me if I'm right.
Okie doke. Well, do you want to go for a quick break now before doing the Premier League then, and you can have a guess? Yep. Okie dokie then. We will be right back. No, wrong, Dave. So
struggling.
I'm happy. I'm sitting here dancing in my chair because I think I might have.
I can see you just smiling.
Yeah, I
pleasantly pleased with yourself?
I am. I'm really chuffed with myself because
Smug
normally
look on your face and that.
Yeah. Oh, proper smug, mate. If you were sat in front of me, you would want to punch the smugness at the moment.
Professor Smug.
Yes, exactly, from Smugtown. So so right, we went off for that break, so you could have that guess off air, which was sadly wrong. Would you like to pick up again, and we'll go to the Premier League?
Yeah, Premier League. Burnley 0, Brighton 0. Bit of a bore draw that. And then Palace absolutely thumped Leicester 5-0. Wilfried Zaha, instrumental in all things good for Palace and great player. You know what I think about him. Yeah. He's always behind their goal, creates goals, scores goals, and just a quality player, I think.
Yeah, he absolutely is. I mean, I think England really missed out on where he's playing for Ivory Coast now. He would have been great to be in for consideration for the World Cup, wouldn't he?
Yeah, and Benteke, that was funny. He got ushered forward by his teammates late on. I mean, to score the penalty, and that's his first home goal in nearly a year.
Really?
Yeah. So his teammates want him to get a bit confidence, you know.
Yeah, and, that's good. I mean, that is nice. But, I mean, Benteke, first home goal in nearly a year.
Yeah, I don't think they would have done it if it had been 0-0, man.
No. No, you'd have thought that Zaha would be on that all day long in that instance, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Newcastle 0, West Brom 1, and that's back-to-back defeats for Newcastle, the first time in 2018. And Darren Moore, I don't want to take any credit, but I mentioned him weeks ago when he got the job, and now that's 8 points from 4 games for Darren Moore. And, you know, why did they persist with Pardew so long?
I know. It does make you wonder when you've got a man who can clearly do a good job there in the most difficult of circumstances. He's really got his players up for it, hasn't he?
Definitely. Huddersfield, I'm starting to worry for Huddersfield. Lost at home to Everton 2-0. And Everton, I mean, I'll touch on them first. Sam Allardyce has been getting a bit stick in that. They're up to 8th in the Premier League, you know.
Yeah, I know.
So be careful what you wish for, Everton fans, I think.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Huddersfield have Chelsea, Arsenal and Man City left to play.
They're the last 3 games.
Yeah.
Oh, that's looking too nice.
I worry for Huddersfield.
See, at one stage, they looked as though they'd be absolutely fine and safe, and they must have had those last 3 fixtures in the. They must have had those last 3 fixtures like on their radar from very early on. You would have thought, and you just wonder if they've maybe thought, "Oh no, we've done it, we've managed it," and just maybe taken the foot off the gas a little bit. I know they picked up a win a couple of weeks ago, but that's been about it for quite some time, hasn't it, for Huddersfield?
Yeah.
So
maybe it's a lack of quality, sort of in the final third. So it's
just starting to show through.
Yeah. South Coast derby. Southampton beat Bournemouth 2-1 with Tadic scoring 2 very important goals that gives Southampton a bit of a chance, and Bournemouth are just about safe. But that was a massive result for Southampton.
Yeah, it was. I mean, Bournemouth are mathematically not safe yet, with only a couple of games left, because Southampton's got 3 to go, and Bournemouth are now only 6 ahead of them. But it just looks like they should be because they're in 12th. But any of those teams down there could still get dragged into it.
Definitely. Stoke, one of them, and they went to Anfield and got a great 0-0 draw at Liverpool, but could come too late for Stoke City, that.
Yeah, second bottom.
Swansea had now gone 6 league games without a win and lost at home to Chelsea 1-0. Very much in trouble, Swansea again. And Fabregas with an early goal for Chelsea. Man United 2, Arsenal 1. Pogba, 90th minute winner for Man United. And if I mentioned Mkhitaryan, what would I be saying about him?
You'd be talking about him playing against his former club, of course.
And would I be talking about he's the first player to score for Manchester United and against them in the same Premier League season ever.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Is that a fact?
Don't doubt us.
I'm not doubting you. That just sounds absolutely amazing. That sounds incredible.
Mkhitaryan was at Man United early on the season, scored, and then he's gone to Arsenal and scored against Man United.
Yeah. No, I would have put money on maybe Andy Cole having done that in 1994-95, but evidently he didn't. That's amazing.
Right. Yep. West Ham 1, Man City 4, and West Ham could still go down, you know.
Yeah, they could. It's it is quite worrying. I mean, West Ham are 3 points. I just had to double check. They're 3 clear of Southampton, who are in 18th. Still with 3 games to go, though. And they're starting to struggle for form. Not that they've ever been in scintillating form all season, but 2 draws followed by 2 defeats.
Moyes.
Yeah, well, he is. He's a very, very clever man. just winded you up. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And last night, Spurs beat Watford 2-0 with Dele Alli and Harry Kane, the goal scorers. So, the league tables. Have you got the league tables in the Premier League there?
I do, yeah. Do you want me to go through them?
Yeah, you can go through them, yeah.
Well, why not? So in first place, we've got Manchester City, who feel like they've been there since the dot at this point in time. 93 points. Second place, Man United, 77. Third place, Liverpool on 72. Fourth, we've got Tottenham on 71. So that's the top 4. Then you've got Chelsea, Arsenal
66,
and Burnley.
Aren't they?
Yeah, Chelsea are on 66, 5 behind Tottenham. And then you've got Arsenal.
It's the bottom where it's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, because
bottom club, 10 teams are in it.
Yeah, and that's it. And West Brom, who looked absolutely down and out, all right, they've only got 6 points left available to them. The 5 adrift. Now, yes, that still looks as though they're going to be heading down, you would imagine. But for them to still be in mathematically with a chance, with 2 games left,
crazy, isn't
considering some of the form they've been in and stuff like that. I mean, that was a cracking win at Newcastle. So, West Brom bottom on 28, 19th Stoke City 30 points, 18th Southampton 32, and then looking at the sides that aren't mathematically out of danger, you've got Swansea 17th on 33, Huddersfield in 16th 35, West Ham, Brighton, Watford, Bournemouth and Crystal Palace.
And I will go through the fixtures this week because there's some important games for them sides you've mentioned. Brighton are at home to Manchester United.
Yep.
Stoke play Palace. Bournemouth play Swansea. Leicester play West Ham. Watford Newcastle. West Brom Spurs. Everton Southampton. Man City Huddersfield. Chelsea Liverpool. Arsenal Burnley. There's some vital games at the bottom.
There really are. You would sort of think that the supercomputer's having a little look and thinking, well, we've got to throw a few likely bottom of the table results near the end of the season, and that's exactly what it's produced there. So there's the look ahead to the next round of Premier League action this season.
And the roundup from Serie A, La Liga and the Premier League.
Yes, all completed. Well done as always, Dave. I know you've been really busy, so that I really do appreciate how much work you've put in there. Actually, that's really good. Quickly, while we're talking about the Premier League, I know it's slightly old news. The FA's tweet about Chris Smalling having Harry Kane in his back pocket. Mauricio Pochettino's just spoke out calling it embarrassing. I don't want to spend too long talking about it really, but what do you think? They should have known better, shouldn't they? I know it was good-natured, but...
Totally agree with him. I think it was absolutely embarrassing, and my thoughts are on the FA. It stands for what they know about football. We'll leave it at that.
Very good, yeah. Well, leave the rest to the imagination. Not that that's a lot left to the imagination, but there you go. Right, so shall we just get a couple more clues done? And then
we'll do Team of the Week.
Come back for the Team of the Week, that's right. So, where did I get to? Last I told you was the Serie A clubs, wasn't it? So, question number 8. In 2003, as my career was winding down, I moved to Qatar, signing for Al Arabi. Clue number 9. Reflecting on my career, I later said, when I was playing football, I never enjoyed it that much. I was never happy. If I scored 2 goals, I wanted a third. I always wanted more. Now it's all over. I can look back with satisfaction, but I never felt that way when I was playing. So there you go. That's
Is his surname the same as some club in the Championship?
No, I can't. I don't even know who you're talking about there. You'll have to tell me that one off. Ricky Villa. No, it's not. I think you mentioned him before anyway, didn't you, with Aussie Art Dealers? I'm not sure. But yeah, so I've another quick quote actually from Brian Laudrup, who was a teammate of his at Fiorentina. He once said, I was watching him train for the first couple of days and he was one of the worst trainers I'd ever seen. Lousy technique, his shots were going wide, but then he scored 10 goals in the first 5 or 6 games and I realised what a player he was. So that's what Brian Loudrup said of today's mystery
player. I'm really
player.
struggling with this one. Well, there was somebody I named off air, but you said it wasn't him.
No, it wasn't him. You haven't said this guy's name yet, so we're going to... Oh, you've only got one clue left. You've only got one clue left as well. I wonder if I've beaten you for once. Right,
Mr. Smugsville.
So we're going to head off for a quick break. We'll come back and we'll do the best 11 of the week, and then I'll put you out of your misery, Dave, like any humane person would do.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Back in a moment. And welcome back. So we've just got one last little bit of business really to do now, Dave, and let's have a look at the best 11 of the week. So
Team of the week, is it called?
Best 11 of the week, it's called. But yeah, you could call it Team of the Week. That's absolutely fine.
We've been doing it for long enough, haven't we?
Well, we have, yeah. And these are players exclusively, obviously, from the Premier League, Serie A and La Liga. We've gone for a 4-3-3 this week. That'll be. And
I'll just say, before you start naming them, you've even surpassed your standards by lopsided teamwork this week.
Hey, it's an absolute pleasure. I know it's not going to take long to get onto it. I know exactly where you're going with it. Well, to begin with, anyway. But we're going to start off with the goalkeeper, Jordan Pickford at Everton. 2.5 million, 7 points. A clean sheet in the 2-0 win at Huddersfield. So
we both know all about Jordan Pickford. Do you think he'll be number one in Russia for England, or do you think he'll go to Jack Butland?
I would absolutely love for Jordan Pickford to do it, but I think Butland has been around the England setup that little bit longer, and I suspect he might get the nod. But I think Pickford would be a great keeper for England if he was the regular number one. What do you think?
Yeah, I think I couldn't disagree with that. He's still got time on his side. I mean, he's a relatively young lad,
Yeah.
And keepers can go on for a long time, so
it's amazing with Jordan
Pickford. See that in the summer.
Yeah, it will. I mean, it doesn't seem like 2 minutes since you and me were sat at the Stadium of Light saying, "Oh, that Pickford might be a decent player, but he's not ready yet." And
doesn't seem 2 minutes ago since he was on loan at Darlington as a 16-year-old kid, and then working his way through League Two, League One, Championship at Preston,
Yeah.
So he did it the right way, I think.
I think
a lot of these young lads from these academies have to go out on loan and get games and play proper men's football. Yeah. It's done him no harm at all.
No, definitely not. So Jordan Pickford there is the goalkeeper. There were a lot of keepers that earned the 7 points for a clean sheet, but 2.5 million, especially with how well Everton are doing generally, despite what even some of their own fans might tell you, it's been a lot better than it looked as though it was going to be this season. So I think Pickford's worthy for holding the goalkeeper's spot. Now, I suspect the first source of your ire is coming right now because we've got, starting off in defence, Patrick Van Aanholt.
Left back.
Crystal Palace. 2 million, 9 points, goal and the clean sheet in that 5-0 win against Leicester. So the next defender is Leighton Baines at Everton.
Left back.
8.5 million he is, 7 points, clean sheet, and the assist in the 2-0 win at Huddersfield. Then alongside Leighton Baines, Cristiano Biraghi.
Left back. Yep, he's Fiorentina on loan from Pescara, 25-year-old. So that's 3 left backs you've got in. Where are you going to play them all?
In the Euro Fantasy League game, they're just classed as defenders. I'm not
got to do your research, young man.
I know.
I sounded like Brian Clough there.
Yeah, you did, didn't you? I know that was worrying. I know where these players play, but I'm just talking about the 4 highest point scoring defenders.
Well, can we 1 week? Because there won't be that many weeks left. Can you get 2 centre-halves, a right back and a left back in there somewhere?
Just to keep you cool.
Just to prove you understand football.
Well, of course I understand football. Wow, that is insulting. Right, okay. Cristiano Biraghi there, Fiorentina, 3.5 million, 7 points. Clean sheet and the assist in that 3-0 win against Napoli. And then we've got Stefan Savic, Atletico Madrid.
Central defender.
7 million, 5 points. Clean sheet in the 1-0 win.
Plays for Montenegro,
Alaves.
Doesn't he? I'm sure he does. That's his country and he plays for them. Yeah.
That's his country and he plays for them. He is Montenegro, yeah. Right,
yeah.
and then...
And actually, he made 12 appearances for Manchester City back in the 2011-2012 season.
He did, before going on to Fiorentina. He's another former Fiorentina. So there we go. Yep, Stefan Savic. And then in midfield, we've got Wilfried Zaha, who we've already spoken about.
We've said all the
Palace.
About
Plays
him.
for Ivory Coast, he does. 2 million, 7 points, 2 goals and the clean sheet in the 5-0 win against Leicester. And he's joined by Dusan Tadic at Southampton.
Yeah, I rate that player. You know, he's 29-year-old now, and he's Serbian, signed from 20 in Holland in 2014.
Yeah, that's right. I was living in Southampton at the time when they signed Dusan Tadic, and it was amazing how quickly the fans took to him there. So, yep, 2 goals, both goals in that 2-0 win over Bournemouth. And then we've got Brian Cristante at Atalanta.
Or if you want his Italian name, Brajan Cristante.
It's not like you to attempt that. That's very good.
But it's totally right. I'm on my game.
Oh, I know you are.
Lopsided defender. Anyway, at Atalanta, and he's on loan from Benfica in Portugal, and he's played just about every game this season for Atalanta, scoring 12 goals in the process.
Yeah, that's right. No, he's having a good time of things. That was a goal and an assist in that 3-1 win against Genoa, 6 points. So there we go, and that makes up the midfield. And then up front, we're not going to say too much about this because it's the...
We've said it all, haven't we?
We've said it all. It's the 3 weekend winners. Messi, Bacca and SImeone are the 3 up front for the best 11 because they were the 3 highest point-scoring strikers. So there we go. That is the best 11 of the week. Dave rounds it up quite nicely. And right, so the only thing we've got left to do now is for me to essentially give you the answer to this. I've been very disappointed with this effort from you.
Well, I've gone well in recent weeks, haven't I? So I think you've just made it that bit tougher.
I quite like the level it's at the moment. So my nickname, there you go, this is going to do it. My nicknames include Batigol and El Angel Gabriel.
Batistuta.
That's the one. Well done. We got there.
I totally, he'd gone totally out of my mind.
Yeah, Gabriel Batistuta.
I didn't even think, if I'd sat here all day, I wouldn't have got him.
See, when you said earlier on, I think I've got it, I thought, oh, he probably has, because obviously I've sat there doing the clues. I've known who it was. I thought, he probably has. I was amazed it took you to clue 11.
I think you flummoxed us when you said he was a proper family man until a few years ago and sort of were digging us in the ribs about my ex-wives.
I genuinely was not. I was not digging you about that. And I never once questioned your knowledge of football. So there we go.
I thought you were going to say of marriage.
No, I would never question you about anything to do with marriage. So there we go. Gabriel Batistuta is this week's mystery player of the week. So that's about it, Dave. It's been good fun, that has.
Yeah, it has. We've had our ups and downs over the episode,
We have. It's been a roller coaster this last hour or so of recording. It's been a roller coaster. So do remember you can play the game EuroFantasyLeague.com, and you've got the league specific games as well. Fantasy-Liga.com, FantasySerie.com, and Fantasy-Premier.com. You can find us on Twitter. We're at EuroFantasyPod. Dave, you're at Davey Fennick, and I'm at JamClean1984. You can email us eurofantasypod@gmail.com. We're on all the usual podcast platforms by now. And please remember to rate and review. The more ratings and reviews we get, the more visible we are to potential new listeners, the more interaction we can have. It's just win-win for everybody. It doesn't take longer than a minute or two to do that. So that would be absolutely fantastic.
And if I said Nicholas Carroll to you?
Yes, that's right. And do remember to check out Nicholas Carroll's video previews on EuroFantasyLeague.com as well. They're always really entertaining, good fun, nicely edited, good presenting, really good way to spend a few minutes of your time. So remember to check out Nicholas Carroll's video previews on EuroFantasyLeague.com. So there we go, Dave, that's another episode done.
Another one gone and not long of the season left.
Not long, we've only got a couple left to do. Yeah, I know. I don't know what we're going to do through the summer just yet.
I'm sure I'll find something to do, but not get married
football. Well, I'm off to read a football, learn the basics of football dictionary. So,
okay, mate.
So we will see you in a couple of weeks' time. Thanks for listening.